we found here with your 30/30 report, we've been watching this for a couple of years now, that probably around once a quarter, we see like one sector light up that launch pad there, and it might even be over 2 or 3 weeks there. And we saw it. We saw this with uranium. Would have been 12 weeks. It was 12 weeks ago, basically, as this was breaking out of a base here. So as this deep yellow is coming out of this consolidation there, I think BOE was coming out of this. All that tight, look how tight that thing was. That basically sort of sat on top of the previous high. Did this big sideways consolidation there. That broke out on the launch pad that week there. Yeah. So we know that every time we see a whole sector all light up that list, and it doesn't happen very often. It might only happen like once every sort of maybe 8, 10, 12 weeks or something there. But we saw it with lithium, middle of the year. We saw it with uranium there 12 weeks ago, but we just seen it with gold here. So we've got, the gold's moving here quite nicely. So it's a one sector which is going up here. So I mean, our golds are actually doing pretty well here, but your data is telling us here this might just be the start of the year. So, we've got to, obviously we've got to put a stop in there and we've got to trail our follow process here. But your report's basically sort of telling us here this potentially can be a bigger move here. So we see only a handful of stocks in there. Maybe you only get a sort of, half decent move here. But I know your data basically tells us here when we see a sector light up the launch pad there for a couple of weeks in a row, do not take that lightly. They can be some really big moves here. So, and so far it's been bang on. It's the golds was just humming here. So they're all looking quite good. They all flashed down, made some pretty good signals. So for traders who have sort of certain rules, they look for congestion or for false breaks or whatever they're looking for, you still can't just go and buy things willy-nilly. But we're now basically, that sector should be on our watch list. We should be looking at the stocks who are leading. So don't worry about that list of stocks that were on the today on the launch pad. We avoid those gold stocks because they're the laggards. It's taken 3 weeks for them to sort of catch up to the leaders. Okay, so they're the ones we don't play. We play the ones that have been in the list for the last 2 weeks. They're leading in that sector. So we basically want to see that sector there. They'll hopefully light it up. Then they'll have some congestion there, some sideways move there. We saw BOE here, it lit it up, congestion, lit it up, congestion, lit up, congested, lit it up, congested. That's the same thing with deep yellow. They did exactly the same thing. They all sort of, they popped, had a bit of a breather, popped, well, that's a little sideways pattern there, nice and tight. Popped again, another nice and tight sort of sideways pattern there. So that's it won't just go straight up here. But what we're looking for, we want to keep seeing these consolidations sort of setting up here. So we're just going to be patient here now, wait for really constructive sort of tight little consolidations. And we don't see sort of any selling, on those sort of downward consolidations. We can enter safely there. That's what good traders, they're going to be patient there, just going to wait for these set up here. But your report is telling us here that that's the sector we must be watching here for the next few weeks.
Well, that we definitely will. And thank you for that. We'll also be using your insight to guide us through and unpack the charts to identify where the support is, resistance, understand the volume and those opportunities.